This is your 2020 BMW X5M competition. There is an obscene amount of power in this vehicle. It is so much fun to drive. Let's jump right into the Quirks, Perks, and Irks. It's a blackout package on this, so that's why the front grille is black as opposed to chrome. And just massive air intakes. You can see it just wants to get as much air into the engine as possible. Everything else looks fairly similar up front compared to the non-M competition series. You do get the little X5M badging up here and good old LED lights all over the place, plus BMW's laser lights as well. Go back to where we started, which was the front quarter, and to me the good thing is it doesn't change much as far as shape goes. There's, you know, bigger wheels and different sized wheels and some little badgings on the outside, but you know, show this to the average person and they may not know it's an M vehicle as opposed to a regular X5. I like the rim design. I usually don't like busy rims, but these ones look really sharp. You get the blue calipers as well, and another X5M badging right over there. This doesn't do anything. See, my hand kind of gets stuck there. It's more decorative than anything else. You do get the carbon fiber M style mirrors as opposed to the regular ones, which are just all stuck over there. So that definitely looks really nice. I'm gonna back up, and as I do that, I will put the different wheel sizes because the front wheels and the rear wheels have different dimensions on the screen for you. The car is so planted and it just carves up turns and corners, and we'll get to more of that in the driving portion. Now, I did a review on the X5 about 11-12 months ago, and not much has changed from that review to this one. This is more focused on the performance aspect, so I will link to that in the description section if you want more about the details of the X5. Going around the rear, I love the quad tailpipes. Let's just get it down, give you a good look. Really nice, and they're actually all functional because it is an M vehicle. Now, big badging because BMW wants everyone to know that you are driving an X5M competition. A bit of a quirk as a writer. Interesting design line that its competition is in all lowercase letters. Let's open up the tailgate. So again, typical BMW fashion, it is a two-piecer, and it just makes loading things in easier for me. And I had an event last night, so that's why there's a little bit of dirt here, but BMW, I promise I will get this cleaned up before it goes back, but it's just surface dust. So kind of to tie that into the review, if you do have some dust, either run a vacuum or just kind of run your hand across it, and you can tell minus the carpet, it's going the wrong way. But anyways, little scuff protectors here, and you get extra storage in here. Cool that it's in hydraulic, so lots of space down there as well. I've always liked this. It's the collapsible privacy cover, and you just push that button and you can see just how it stops and goes in, and the bottom flap opens up and down it goes, so you don't have to mess around with kind of undoing things from over there or over there. Cargo figures are on the screen right now. So as we transition from that, you open up the trunk, and the bottom part has to be done not manually but just through that. But when you close it, you just push one button, but then both of them close. So I kind of would have rather have, you know, the one lift feature, and it's through that or the key fob to have both of them open. But anyway, my 2 cents on that. Taking a look inside, starting off with the reminder that you are driving an X5M competition vehicle. There's also the M colors on the seat belt, as well as the stitching on the inside of the steering wheel. Quick look at the seats because they are really, really comfortable. Huge thigh bolsters, huge side bolsters, and it's a fixed headrest, and you'd think that it wouldn't move, but the top part of the seat does move. Let me see if I can figure this out. I think it's this one. Nope, it's this one right here. So keep an eye on the top of the seat. So you can see the top of it moving, but it's not all of it because you can see the fold in the leather right here. So I'm just gonna put it back because, well, it's gonna be very uncomfortable once I sit down. Cool perk, this does light up when the lights are on at night. You don't really see it because it's, you know, behind your head, but it does light up. Quick look at the cabin. Lots of secondary soft touch materials. I'm gonna just swing the camera over here. You barely touch this, but it's just so nicely done, and it's leather everywhere. And yes, your primary surfaces are soft touch, but it's just that extra added bit that makes it so nice. Sorry, I was going over here. These light up. Let me see if they'll light up for me now. No, car's not on. Anyway, this there's a light inside of the speaker cover. You can control the intensity. Looks really nice. BMW audio system. Real carbon fiber, more really cool metal speaker covers. It's not like an exclusive X5M competition thing. The regular X5 does have it, but it's still really, really nice as far as reminding people that, yes, you have an ultra luxury vehicle. So let's start with the steering wheel. I got your two different M1 and M2 over here. Really easy to set. So let's get the car started and we'll do that. No, it's not there. If you know anything about the new BMWs, everything is in here. You get a few different pieces of red lit up, colored throughout the vehicle, and there's a little M trim right there. So there's park, little M embossing on the gear shift, which is nice. Gear shifter itself was a little peculiar, and there is the pattern right there. So you're gonna go over and up one to get into reverse, and there's your backup camera, and we'll bring it back down. You go down, and then to the right, and that gets you into your drive, and then upshift, downshift, as well as your paddle shifters there. And just to the left of the park button is 3 options for how intense you want your gear shifts to be, and that reflects, put the car in drive, and that reflects there. So 1 is at the bottom, 2 and 3 at the top. I'm not going to spend too much time in here again because I've done a pretty deep dive on this from last year. So the drive recorder is new, and basically, cancel that. It's like a built-in dash cam that gets you 40 seconds of footage. So I recorded one on the way here. Let's go back and go here, and let's go cancel and saved recordings. So I did one on the way, and my one's at the top. So let's click on that one, and the car has to be in park to be able to see it, or stopped. So that was my little drive around my neighborhood, and you can see that's the front camera, that's the rear camera, that's the left mirror, and that's the right mirror camera. So kind of cool. I like that it's being innovative, and you can actually download it through a USB. Just hit export, plug a USB in, and you're all set. And you can save or delete. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to delete it because I don't really need it. I'm just going to delete this recording because I don't know who did those other 2 ones. Standard fare here, that's kind of like your little safety shield. That means all things are on, all things are off, or you can configure. Standard stuff here. I really like the texture of the opening and closing controls for the vent. Take a little dip down, wireless chargers in there, and yes, you still get heated as well as cooled cup holders. So a really nice move there, plus you're at 12 volt. Now, I like the xDrive system. So back up to the infotainment for a moment. We're gonna go to car, and then we're gonna go to M menu, and that lets you configure what you want for your M1 and your M2, which are the 2 lovely red buttons on the steering wheel. So let's just go to M1 for a moment. So I've set it up just to be completely different. One is efficient, and this is your transmission, and that kind of tells you what it is. So it's automatic shifting electric shift points, and then the card comparison at the bottom for S3 is sequential shifting, maximum shifting speed, and you get 6 choices in between. So let's just go back to D1 for this, and you choose your chassis, steering, brake, and dynamic stability control, sound control, which is also pretty nice. You can have it as either sporty, or if you go to off, that gives it the comfort. So basically you don't wake up your neighbors when you come home. And let's go back to car, and let's go back to M menu and configure M2. So I've changed the settings here to Sport Plus for the engine, and you can see the rest of them. They're as high as they can go as far as the maximum sporty side of things. So for me, that's how I would set it up if I were driving this every day. Just one being very, very daily driver-ish, and one being very, very performance oriented. Almost messed up my words there. Dashboard's still the same. I don't care anymore that the tack is quote-unquote backwards, because this goes clockwise and that goes counterclockwise, but you still get all of your information there. And to me, it's easy to read because the numbers are really, really big, and I'll give the engine a little bit of gas, and you can just see how obvious it is. This does have BMW's really awesome skyline, which you can see a little bit of blue right in the middle of your screen, and if I were to change colors, you could see there's blue, there's bronze, violet, and a few other ones. And the great thing is it's not just the front panel, it's actually the entire panoramic roof, so it looks really cool at night. Top of the privacy cover, X5M Competition. Now, interestingly, it's in black, so it's the exact same one that's on the tailgate. So a little bit of consistency there. And as we take one final look at the interior, I'm going to show you the butterfly opening for the center console. So you get a USB port in there. This does have wireless CarPlay. It's a little glitchy for me. I would rather be able to have it hardwired. Another quick note is the wheel gaps, and it's not quite an Irk, it's just more of a Quirk. It does have the adaptive suspension, but it doesn't have air suspension, so there's a little more gap than I'd like to see between the wheel wells and the tires. And there's a look at the front tire, and as we slide along to the rear tire, kind of the same thing. It doesn't look bad, just I'm kind of used to them being a little closer together. Let's do the drive in the 2020 X5M Competition. So with the competition package, you get 617 horsepower and 543 pound-feet of torque, all through BMW's 4.4 liter V8 twin turbo. That's a lot of power, and that is a lot of responsiveness. So let's just jump right into the drive part, because I think that's why all of you have tuned in. The cornering and handling is nearly unreal. It's so planted, it doesn't swing out at the back if you take a turn too fast. The massive tires and the stability control and just the entire engineering of the steering and handling system it's unreal. You know, not that I try to roll the car at all, I can't be irresponsible with it, but the point I'm making is, with an X5 being so tall and so long and so heavy, you would expect to have some kind of swing out of the back or a little bit of slip over to the side. You know, whether it's you're turning left or you're turning right, you would think that there would be something, again, based off size and weight and power. But every turn I've taken in the X5 has been so, I don't want to say planted, because I said planted already. It's just been, it's something I expect out of an M8, something that's really low to the ground, nice low center of gravity, and the tipping factor is almost non-existent in an M8 compared to an X5, regardless of the M or competition package. So this has truly been engineered so well to give you the best driving experience, not only on straight roads, but through twists and turns as well. Now, the ride quality itself, it's a pretty stiff suspension. So if you're looking for comfort, regardless if you dial in the comfort settings to the M1 and M2 options, it's still gonna be a fairly stiff ride. Not quite a rough ride, but you'll feel the stiffness in the suspension and straight lines, and it gets a little on the uncomfortable side, you know, especially in stop and go traffic, I found anyway, at least on the highway. It's not the greatest, but you know, I don't know if you're gonna buy an X5M Competition for the comfort, right? If you want comfort, just get a regular X5. You want to have the best performance BMW has to offer and a great sounding exhaust and all sorts of bells and whistles, run with the M Competition series. That rough ride is made a little more tolerable by the extremely comfortable seats in this. So it's nice to have the top half of the seat move forward, and I showed you that on the interior portion, and it resonated so much with me because it makes such a big difference to have that upper half go up and down, or sorry, forwards and backwards, as opposed to the entire seat back moving, because A, we're not all the same shape and size, and B, you know, having something support your back, whether it's up back here or up here, can make a significant difference in how comfortable you are as you drive the car. This does have an upgraded package to it, and I'll put a list of some of the highlights of that on the screen for you to take a look at. I'd love to know in the comments, if you were gonna pick up an X5M competition, would you get what you see on the screen as part of an upgraded package, or would you just kind of take it out of the box as is? One side of me says buyer's remorse, because once you take delivery of a vehicle, you can't really go back to the dealer and go, oh, just kidding, I wanted that package. But then again, if you opt to get the package, you might find that over time you may not use some of the features. So let me know in the comments what you would do. I'll put fuel figures on the screen. Don't expect to be saving any money here. Be expecting to really rack up your petrol points or whatever gas rewards you use. And it's not a shot at BMW at all. Like, this is a performance SUV that has 617 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. You're not buying it for its frugal aspect on the fuel consumption side. I've had a few people ask me, why exactly did the X5 need to have an M variant to it? And the obvious answer is, well, no one needs to have all this power. But this is a want vehicle as opposed to a needs vehicle. And Jeep has the Trackhawk, and Mercedes has their offering, and Lamborghini has the Urus. So while it's not a popular option for, you know, let's say 100 people come in to look for an X5, maybe one or two might give this variant a serious look and a test drive. There is still a demand for it, small, possibly growing, but there are competitors out there with it. And some people just want to have all that power going to all four wheels, their right foot. And the analytical side is, there's no way these manufacturers would spend millions of dollars in research and development and engineering and production if nobody was going to buy them. Overall, I categorize this vehicle as fun necessary. It is, for me, fun to drive. It's great. You do your corners, you carve them up. You're so planted and stable, and you don't slip. You don't ever feel a sense of slipping when you're taking corners at a higher speed. But you still can run it as a daily driver with a bit of a harsher ride quality, but it still does everything you need it to. It's still got all the cool cargo space and all the toys and all the tech. Let's go to wrap it up for the 2020 Bavarian Motor Works X5M competition. I just don't want the assistant coming back on. If you've got any questions on the vehicle, please let me know. I'll do my best to get you answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. I'm almost at 5,000. Here's hoping I get there by the time you see this review. Be well, be healthy, be safe, and I'll be back sooner than later with my next review.